Okay, we're back again. This is about 2 weeks after I brought the radio home. I've recapped it and cleaned it up quite a bit, as you can see. It's in pretty good shape, really. The cabinet looks like. So we have here, let's see if you can see this. We have the rectifier tube. It's a type 82 mercury vapor rectifier, plus another 45 for a bias rectifier, the RF tube, and first detector. Those are both 58s. This one is the oscillator tube. That's a 56. Two more 58s. They're the first and second IF amplifier tubes going to IF transformers. This is a 3-stage IF to it. This is the second detector, and this one, this is the second detector, and this one here is automatic volume control, ABC rectifier, and this is the amplifier. These are both 56s, and this is the 55 tube. And here we have a couple 45 push-pull amps, flyer tubes at the end. Okay, it's got a 10-inch speaker, which is in really good shape. I was glad of that. I didn't want to have to replace it. Okay, I got a picture here of the underneath side of the frame. Let's see, a few of the things I've done. Of course, obviously I've changed out all of the capacitors in it. I didn't put the capacitors in the inside the old capacitors, because the old capacitors were in really bad shape. Obviously somebody could do that. Maybe I will in the future sometime if I wanted to get it restored original. But basically all I was concerned about was just getting it running right now. I did have to replace this power resistor here. It's a 4,000 ohm resistor. And I did replace this 40,000 ohm resistor. I had to put two of them in because they only had a 39 and a 1,000 ohm to make it 40. There was 4 electrolytic capacitors. The original CAN capacitor that came with it was gone. And sometime in the 50s, the way it looked, it appeared that somebody had changed out the old capacitors in the 50s, these electrolytic ones, and just stuck in some spare ones that they had. They were old ones, but they looked like they were something from the 1950s. So I don't know what the original one looks like. According to the schematic, they were all together, all 4 of them were together in one can. So other than that, it's a very simple, relatively simple wiring compared to some of them I worked on that are really complicated, where you got half a dozen different bands that you're trying to switch between and everything. So I did have to change out the volume control. I had a hard time finding a replacement because this is a 2 meg resistor on this, and all of the new ones that you make nowadays are all, the highest I could ever find is just 1 meg. So I had to get one. Actually, I got this one from England, but it seems like it's going to work. So that's what the inside looks like. Okay, here we are out in the garage, and I have the cabinet. As I showed you before, the cabinet needed new legs to it. The original legs had been removed. I put new legs on, got it all painted and stained. I still got a lot of work to do on it yet, but it's in actually pretty good shape. I don't know how good I can get into it, but as you can see, it's not in too bad a shape considering the problems that it had when I first got it. Over here we have the doors. I've taken the doors off so that I could go and work on them. They are ready to be varnished now. Okay, and this is inside the cabinet. As you can see, I had to frame up the base with some 2x4s in order to stabilize it, and I attached the legs to that. It's kind of a compromise. I wish I could have restored it to its original condition, but it simply wasn't good enough condition to do that, so we had to do the next best thing and fix it up the best way I could.